Gives you that extra movement speed to get around the map, and it also gives you that extra goal per 5 income. Going 21 to defense or anywhere else is just not really needed. All the pros are generally now taking 21 utility. 0921. Yeah, Krill is taking over stream.
Alright.
So supports, you guys both did it. It's not a huge mistake. You can really run whatever you want on a support, but those are the optimal things according to pros. Jungle wise, you know, you guys both had fine masteries and ruins. We had Zurath. Don't take enchanted armor. Enchanted armor is a very bad mastery point. You only want to take it on Malphite or Rammus, really. Because it's 2.5% of your bonus armor. So if you bought yourself 100 armor, it's gonna give you 2.5 armor, and you're not even buying yourself that much armor, so it's not very good on any other champion. Jinx, your rune page is good. I would honestly, Oh no, sorry, your rune page is not good. You have 11 armor pin. Okay, so the way AD carries work nowadays in the current meta is when you land underneath the tower, you want to be able to see the range minion hit one hit from the tower, and you auto attack it once for the kill, right? With your current runes and masteries, you're gonna have to be a boss underneath that turret, because you're gonna hit each minion twice, the range minions, or rely on support to help you at CS. And also, it's just hard to CS without any attack damage. So what you want to be doing is running. I mean, you can run whatever you want. First of all, this is just what
Hi there,
you know.
folks.
I just want to emphasize that.
Oh man, that's really loud. We're gonna do in the second game. This Grant's talking to them. I apologize for missing the previous game. I just woke up. I had a test and a half today, and I did not plan on doing Academy tonight as a result of that. We are going to be moving the Academy date to a day that isn't Sunday, because too often that clashes with people's intramural games. And so we're going to try and find something that accommodates people a little better, because I know a lot of people are struggling to get their intramural games out at the end of the week, because that's the only time that people seem to be available. So we'll get that cleared up. Don't know what day it is yet, but in any case, it'll be 2 weeks from now, at the minimum.
That's a really good mastery take.
Probably make a poll or something, find out what days people are available. But Sunday and Monday seem to not be good days. There's something I need to take into an account when we originally scheduled them to Sundays is what time people have intramural matches, and I realized that I was doing my intramural matches at the same time, and yeah, there are a lot of people that have to work too. You know, people with actual responsibilities.
So like, for example, if we want to look at a mastery page here, let me is there some website you can make a mastery page and like link it to people to look at or something like that?
Okay. No, on top of my head.
Does Lolking do that?
I mean, you can probably just link your build.
Well, the problem is I make my room pages every game. I only have one room page.
Mastery page, but
Yeah,
Let's see if
Khalil can pull it up.
yeah, on the stream you can go to the profile.
Is the stream back up?
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
on your
link it
Rise
over.
page, Danny. Oh shit, sorry. On your Rise page, Danny, you want to be running 0921.
21, okay.
9 into offense isn't really optimal. You don't need that CDR from it, and you don't need the AP from it. You want that defensive stats to give you a little bit more health in lane, and that extra HP scaling is nice too for later in game.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a little bit distracted though. So you guys get the point. If you're running 80 carry, you want to get those points of Butcher and Feast. Look at probuilds.net and just look at any 80 carry, and you'll see how they do the just get those 2 points into there.
Did you see my message to you in League?
Let me look.
Right, any messages about like mid lane or whatever?
Oh yeah, I'll get to it.
Talk about that.
I haven't gotten to that yet. Wait. So for example, if you're going 80 carry, let me do like I'm gonna talk about this 80 carry take real quick. Here.
Why is Jonathan into this? What the fuck?
He's
passing with
spectating.
Khalil.
Uh-oh.
Wait, do you guys already have the room filled?
I actually don't know if I'm going to keep spanking Muffin in here, because it's a little stacked in terms of teams. I almost feel like I need to play if we're going to have Spank and Muffin play, because he's the exact same elo as I am right now.
Guys, that's an 80 carry page. Pretty standard. But alright, let me go back to what I was talking about. So, mid lane, the Cho'Gath is dead. I would have liked to see Denton camp mid more. Cho'Gath is an easy gank, and he was pretty damn squishy. That one gank, he just popped.
Yeah, he popped that one gig. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, so I would have liked to camp Cho'Gath more. Cho'Gath,
I just wanted to counter gank because then it would be a free kill on Evelyn early.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe you'll play the map. You guys had so many. Bootcamp has so many wards and pinks on the map that was disgusting. That game. You guys didn't update your pinks, which is kind of sucky. But like the fact that you even bought pinks in the first place is like, you know.
we were just like, I just wanted to wait because I was just like, oh, if you think I'm gonna buy, I can drop the one pink I had in inventory at the time.
Yeah, Dan, they had 5 pinks on the map at like all points of the game. You weren't gonna go anywhere without being seen.
You prefer 9 on defense for an AD carry?
That's what you do for everyone.
Yeah, 9 in defense.
Yeah, 9 on defense. Very rarely do you go the utility tree on them. It just helps your laning phase. But all right, so let's keep talking about the lanes. So we see AP tank. We already went over mid lane a little bit. Zed, you built a Negatron pretty early. I would like to see a Hex Drinker instead, and maybe even Merc Treads against Cho'Gath and over that Negatron cloak because Merc Treads stops that silence, and Hex Drinker is a lot more efficient on you than a Negatron is. Because you want AD and damage. If you went Negatron cloak, it kind of like ruined your mid game. Not ruined it, but made it weaker. Link the one on top lane. You were playing the lane really well, but your flashes were so like aggressive. Like your flashes were flashes that were good, but they weren't good. You weren't dodging skill shots with your flashes. You were flashing the gap close. You could be doing if you had done both at the same time. That may have turned some ganks around. But good job by Nico too at level 3. Realizing that Xerath was pushed up, and that was the place that didn't want him to go to. But to continue on, bot lane, Jinx, Thresh played the lane fine. Really well done. That Thresh flash play was really cool to watch. I don't know if it made a difference, but still, one plays like that they gain elo.
At which point?
The flash play from Thresh.
It was a really good game.
It was really well done.
Yeah. It was.
And Asian boy on Braum, you did well. You did as well as you could. You guys did okay bot lane. I think a different AD carry other than Jason would have been more optimal. But I'm not gonna go too far into that. I would just make sure you on your runes and masteries on. If you, I understand some of you guys don't have 20 rune pages. I mean, I don't blame you. But if you can, champions like Braum and Xerath, well, especially Braum, you don't really need that AD because you don't auto attack that often. Like going HP seals with flat armor quints and stuff like that is still really good on Braum. That's just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
But if you don't have them, don't worry about it. Your masteries are fine. Your runes are fine. Your masteries, I would have gone 0, 9, 21.
What?
80. Jason's masteries were correct. Jason's runes, even though he had a really dumb champion, his runes were correct at least. So that's good news.
Thank you.
Besides the
Something right.
but on your yellows, this is where the bad part comes in though. Your yellows and your crit chance. You need armor and MR on those. 80 per level is not very good efficiently, and you need that extra MR. So if I were you, I would change those AD carry runes to armor seals and MR glyphs, or some kind of CDR glyphs or attack speed glyphs. Anything really besides the current one. And yeah. Then your mastery runes are both perfect. I would have liked to see gank more. You were doing a few camps and then ganking. Your ganks were almost always successful. You had really good lane to gank for with mid and top. I would have liked you to do one camp gank, one camp gank. It would have set you a little bit behind, but your laners needed it. You didn't have the luxury of Lee Sin to farm a little bit. Your laners were losing, and you needed to just gank more and more. You may have lost either way if you had done what I'm saying, but I think it would have helped your game a little bit more of your team to get, you know what I mean? I think that's my end of analysis. Cho'Gath mid, the armor pin on your runes was a little bit weird, but I mean, I want to play Cho'Gath mid, but I don't know if that's needed.
Yeah, Cho'Gath was a perfect pick against Zed, though. I literally can't do anything because
I was saying like Cho'Gath level 6. Cho'Gath level 6 damage is so disgusting. I said this in the pregame champion slide. If Cho'Gath level 6 sees that Zed with half HP, Zed's dead with that WQR ignite combo.
I told you I was gonna eat you. I told you I was gonna eat you, Sam.
Dude, there was one part where you put a Q down and I was at like 75% health on the tower and I was like, hey, no way I'm fucking standing in that flat.
Yeah. So, Purple team, yes, fell behind, but just remember when you fall behind, I mean, I do this all the time, so I'm being hypocritical, but make sure you buy wards even when you are behind, because that's how you get back into the game. At the end of the day, if you really want to win every game, wards win games. It's true. Even Reddit says it every day.
Which is weird because they're usually very inconsistent with what they say.
I mean, yeah, everyone says it, but no one does it. But I'm just saying, like, especially if you're behind, you're like, oh, I really need those 2 pots. But it was really hard for Evelyn to gank anywhere because every single time Evelyn ganked, Lee Sin was there to counter gank. They had really good vision of purple side's jungle and not very good vision for purple side on blue side. So like every single time Evelyn was going anywhere, they pretty much knew where he was going and they were ready for it and they would counter gank and it was a double kill counter gank every time. That's my analysis, guys. If you have any more questions, you can message me or you can post on the TAMU Academy wall and I'll talk about your playstyle more.
When should we expect to see the YouTube video or whatever? YouTube.
That's Khalil's part. I don't have that knowledge. I'm a noob.
Did you do commentary during?
I did. I was talking the whole time.
If there's bot save, you can just look there.
So there'll be a bot save already immediately afterwards, and then the YouTube hopefully will come up soonish. I will be able to tell you more about that. But anyway, good games, everyone.
Well,
hope you learned something.
Playing this one apparently because I didn't realize that it was first. I didn't realize you had to actually join it. So I'm just gonna head out.
Sorry about that.
Guys. Yeah, no problem.
See you guys.
Do you guys have your roles sorted out?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so. Do you want to go to our teams? We're just doing the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I only changed up. I moved Gun and Roses to mid. Blink is still top. I moved Spank and Muffin to top. We have jungle Shanak, and the jungler for the other team is Nico still.
Nico.
So.
Do we go to team 1 and team 2?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can, unless you guys want to switch. I mean, I don't mind.
breaking out in the chat rooms, bro.
Yeah, just go to your chat rooms and start whenever. I think the leader is Mex Asian Boy, so.
Are these the teams already?
Yep.
Or do we need to switch them up? Alright, good.
Khalil, how did I get in your freaking cheating? Khalil, you just wake up?
Dude, I had a fucking exam at like 5 or some shit, and I went to sleep. I had no intention of running this today.
That's what I'm here for. I'll help you. Don't worry.
I got a the respect ban on a blue team. I already got a Jinx ban out. I think that he had really good positioning, but I don't think that's something that's unique to his Jinx play. So we'll see how that pans out for them. I need some music. Got an Akali ban, that's probably for Will Naylor, because he plays a lot of Akali. He's got a pretty decent Akali too, so... I mean, if you guys ever want to beat Akali, pick mid Fiddlesticks. Epic shots approved. We did that in our intramural game yesterday, it was pretty funny.
Or you could just pick whatever and abuse Akali's weaknesses. But then again, like when we played our intramural matches, we roamed mid and gave Akali like 5 kills, and then he ended up carrying the game with like 20 kills. It was pretty painful.
Rip. The dream.
He kind of almost did the same thing against you guys the second game when he got Akali.
Oh, it's fine, he had 19 CS at 10 minutes, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, we were up 100 CS by 15 minutes. Doesn't matter, you just gave him 5 kills. Or 5 kills. Now for these bans, are these more respect bans? Because I could definitely see a Akali ban, but...
honestly, they're all respect bans. So Nico only plays pretty much Kha'Zix and Lee Sin effectively in the jungle, so they got the Lee Sin ban out. They're probably gonna pick Kha'Zix if I had to take a guess. I'd be surprised if they didn't. The Nasus ban is against Blink the One because he's actually pretty fucking good at Nasus. The Ryze ban, I think that's a general ban. The Malzahar ban is probably a ban against their if they think that Gun Rose, since Gun Rose is playing mid, because Gun Rose likes to whip out troll mon meta mids. The Jinx ban was against their AD carry from last game, so they're target bans for the most part. Yep, there's the Kha'Zix pick. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to have Nico. Wait, actually, yeah. So we have Nico on Kha'Zix, which is one of his like signature champions. Shanak's playing Vi. He's a pretty good Vi. I noticed that both these junglers, they're both gold, but they do pretty good on like heavy aggro champions. They're not very like farm oriented junglers, which is interesting. Lower elo, I see the opposite. Usually you have people that block in the Master Yi, or formerly the Jax jungle, and they'll sit no farm in the jungle for an hour and a half, not actually apply any pressure and hope that they like come out swinging at the end. So, I mean, it's good to see people playing aggro junglers. In terms of scaling, they're both going to scale pretty well too. It's not like a Lee Sin pick, which he'll end up only peeling for the most part. Kha'Zix and Vi are pretty good at killing people at the end of the game. Like, really good at killing them, honestly.
More so for Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix,
Yeah.
you pretty much, you build damage, and you build a bit of tankiness, but mostly damage. Your goal is to poke down people and assassinate, because if you get your isolation damage on someone, you're going to pretty much 100-0 them in seconds. Or not even seconds. In like 2-3 seconds. Which is seconds.
I mean, I'm also interested to see what he maxes first. I think he should be maxing Q first. Okay, according to Pickrus, you should be maxing Q first, and you should be evolving Q first now. So, we'll see.
This is a trade-off between like what style you're going for, because if you go Q first, you are a lot stronger in 1v1s, you're a lot stronger in duels, you're a lot stronger when ganking. But if you go W first, you're more utility based. You can offer more CC to help your laners. If say your laners are heavy damage, it's maybe better to go W first. But they're all viable options. It all depends on what you're going to build, or what you're building into, or what the style of how you're going to complement your lanes.
I think from his perspective, he doesn't think the trade-off for the amount, like, since they reduce the amount of slow that you get anyway, that getting the extra slow from evolving W isn't nearly worth it as much as it was before, and you're losing too much damage off of Q by doing it. But, I mean, if you have really strong laners, I could see you could evolving W first.
It's also a lot stronger for poking fights. If you're, say, go Kha'Zix, Jace, and Lux, which is a pretty common comp that A&M runs, cough cough. Maxing W gives you a lot of ability to poke someone off an objective. I'm quite interesting to see J4 top. It's not really in the meta. What do you think about that?
The J4 top, okay, so I actually don't mind J4 top. It's not meta, but it does work. Mainly in solo queue, and since you're going to be playing this like LoL Academy game like a solo queue game, I think the J4 pick, if he starts getting ahead, is going to be one of those things that they're not going to be able to put the brakes on. Because J4 does an incredible amount of damage. Like, J4 does so much damage. His base ratios are really good, and he actually like scales fairly well. His damage doesn't really start falling off until I'd say you start getting toward the end of mid game, toward the beginning of late game, because you have to actually start stacking armor before J4's damage starts falling off. It's not like Lee Sin, where once you start like naturally getting more health, his damage scales off. It's one of those things like, oh, I built an armor item, so J4 isn't one-shotting me anymore. But if he starts getting ahead, like you get a 4-0, 5-0 J4, he's just gonna like cataclysm everybody and they're just gonna die. And that coupled with the Fizz pick would actually be really interesting to see how many Chum the Waters you could get to hit the whole team because they're stuck in cataclysm. I really like Blue Team's team comp right now. You see this Spankin' Muffin whipping out the Swain. I feel like Swain would actually do pretty well against J4, but at the same time I feel like pre-6 he's probably gonna die. That's because J4's martial cadence, it scales up from I think about 6% up to 10% at early levels, but it's still really effective at Swain before Swain starts getting lifesteal. So I feel like if I were their Kha'Zix, I would just go top and I would kill this Swain over and over and over again because he's so gankable through try because he has absolutely no ability. That and J4 has tons of kill pressure. Like he has a CC that's a knock up. Like it hardly gets better than that. Most you could ask for more than that is a stun. So come 6, if J4 hits 6 before Swain, Swain's 100% dead. But I do think that this J4 should probably run Ignite if he plans on winning his lane against Swain. Because unless he kills Swain pre-6 and he's not running Ignite, I don't think he's ever going to kill Swain again.
And also, if Swain's running Ignite and he's running Teleport, Swain does have the kill advantage because Ignite does a pretty significant amount of damage, especially early game where you really need your health regen to help sustain through fights. It's gonna be really interesting how the matchup works out. Especially if you're running Ignite, you lose a lot of kill pressure when you run Teleport. However, when you run Teleport, you have a lot more presence on other lanes. You can help bot lane, you can mostly you help bot lane out. You can go mid, you can teleport mid to counter gank a dive to counter dives. It gives you a lot of utility around the map, but you offset that with losing lane pressure.
Yep, and I feel like on a pick like Swain, you'd probably want to run teleport simply because he lacks a lot of mobility, and I think that his teleport ganks would actually be not so bad with the stun coming out, especially between him and Annie, getting the two stuns working in sync. And the biggest problem with running teleport when you're playing top lane that a lot of people aren't aware of is that, so like Kha'Zix needs to doubly make sure that he goes to gang top now, because if you go top and you set the other top laner behind, they are 100% screwed. It's not like that's something that you can easily come back from. When you die at top lane at level 1, level 2, you end up missing a tremendous amount of farm. You lose the experience level advantage. Like if you look at patch notes for what's on the PvE right now, one of the biggest things they're trying to mitigate is the amount of stats that you get per level. Because when you get a level advantage on someone, you do so much more damage that you can make it impossible to come back from. So if I'm aware of that as a mid laner, like how big of a problem it is if the other person hits like level 2 or level 3 before me, I want you to move that toward top lane where the lane is like nearly twice as long. Like the problem gets exacerbated to a much further degree. Like if you fall behind in levels in top lane, it's almost impossible to come back unless the other, at that point, once you fall behind in levels, the other player has to do something dumb. Like they have to do a misplay, or you have to get a gank. There's no other way that you start like naturally winning trades unless their champion sucks that bad. Like maybe they're playing Poppy into your like I don't even know. Like it has to be skewed a pretty far way for you to get behind in levels. Like if you died at level 2 and the other person, because the other person kills you with a minion advantage while you're level 2 and they just hit level 3, they can push that to your turret, kill all your CS, hit level 4, and you'll still be like level 2, wondering what's wrong in the world. So I think that'd be really good for Kha'Zix to go up there. But like Jonathan brought up earlier, there's a duality to it, because even though it would really suck if Swain died, you have to remember that Swain's running Ignite and J4 isn't. But honestly, considering he has a J4 and they have a Swain, I don't think they're gonna lose that 2v2 unless it gets like extended too long. Like for some reason, Swain's able to just kite back J4 and Kha'Zix for a while Vi's just dishing out damage. I'm interested to see how good of a Fizz will nailer is, because most Fizz players, especially in Platinum, like honestly I think from Platinum and below, even in like Diamond 5, you'll see Fizz players that are really susceptible to getting to take a lot of harass, and they'll do really dumb things at the beginning, like they prioritize CS over like their levels, which is a Fizz player you don't want to do ever. If you're prioritizing CS over levels, most likely you're taking a lot of harass, and you're gonna be too low to actually do any trades. Going into your level 2, level 3 power spike. And against Annie, you're going to want that level 3 power spike before you start doing any trading. Because she can just spam Disintegrate and Incinerate at level 1 and level 2. It costs her not very much mana, but it does a whole lot of damage. It's got like a 0.8 ratio or something like that. So you're looking at like 80 to 100 damage every Disintegrate, which is her Q.
And also, Annie's going to abuse her range. And
oh yeah.
A lot of Annies I've been seeing, you run hybrid pens, especially against melee mid laners, just because you can auto attack, because you have one of the longest auto attack ranges in the game.
Yeah, it's like 650. That's nearly as big as Caitlyn's auto attack range, to put in perspective. Like Graves is 525. Yeah, I think it's 525, and Caitlyn's is 700. Annie's sitting at a lofty 650. So you can expect to get harassed a lot as any melee champion going to Annie. So he really should just let himself get zoned off the first 2 waves, hit level 3, and then just start trading. Like at that point, you need to show Annie that you're not going to be like pushed around. Otherwise, Annie's just going to run away with it and hit level 6 and global you. So keep that in mind. I play a lot of like melee mids, so very much used to that. Yeah, I know the pain. I hate Annie. I hate playing any melee champion into Annie. Oh, looks like we're finally getting loaded in here. I probably should check that rune into masteries. Oh, whew, the Crash Arena. Jonathan, tell me when the game starts, maybe? Tell me when your spectator thing loads up.
Alright.
Alright, I'm getting in now. Dope. Wait, I'm not in game. Why did I just look up Nox? Oh, it still shows it. Holy shit. Okay, so looking at Runes and Masters. So Fizz is running the old 21-9. I'm a man when I play Fizz, so I prefer 27-0-3, but there's nothing wrong with going 21-9.
Especially against the Annie,
Yeah, especially the Annie pick. Absolutely.
For to harass.
So I have no less respect for him for doing this. You notice he gets like your standard AP masteries. I notice he gets Fizz, which is actually pretty good on Fizz, especially since you run Flask. I take Blade Weaving in my 27-03, but it's completely fine if you don't. He takes Exposed Weakness. He's a team player, good guy, Fizz. His runes are bold.
Loading the spectator client.
Okay. His runes are like my runes, where he takes no MR. Against Annie, you might want MR. He actually runs a lot of scaling health. You might want some flat health, but D's throw, and we'll see if he can play well with it. Jarvan is running a lot of AD. That is a strong Jarvan, and his scaling MR. That's good. Jarvan gets MR per level. He's a melee champion. Most melee champions do get MR per level. Like some notable exceptions are Yasuo doesn't get MR per level. I think Fizz doesn't, maybe. But MR per level is going to break even about level 9, which is going to be good. He's going to need it. AD runes are fine. He's running 23-7. I don't know why he's running 23-7. I wouldn't run 23-7. Unyielding is a really, really important mastery. I think Juggernaut is too. And I don't think that Feast, which is the actual point, plus Dangerous Game are really worth it on AD carry. Like, those 2 points should really be moved to Unyielding and Juggernaut. Don't
depends. Like on bot lane, if you run Feast, it really helps with your sustain. But if you lose like Juggernaut and Unyielding, you are so much more open to like just being attacked and harassed down. Honestly, I wouldn't run Warlord. I would just put that to defense.
I mean, honestly, you could just drop the point out of Double-Edged Sword and the point out of Dangerous Game and put it into Unyielding and Juggernaut, and you could still keep the bonus of Feast. I think Warlord hurts your scaling too much to just outright drop it. But I mean, when you're looking at Dangerous Game and Double-Edged Sword, neither of them are nearly as important as Unyielding and Juggernaut. Because like Warlord will give you like your endgame scaling since it's a flat percentage it's increased. In terms of Kha'Zix's runes, I'm gonna have faith in Norman, assuming he knows what he's talking about. Leona is running AP runes. How are AP runes on Leona?
AP runes help her W scale off a bit, and I'm actually not sure what scales off. Her
all
ult
of
scales off
Leona's skills scale off of AP. The problem is her like highest ratio is 0.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to say about these support masteries in a sec, like probably at the end of the game. I'll save that for the end of the game. But since the game's going and started, we'll go ahead and talk about it. Looks like a pretty standard start from everyone. I don't see anything out of the ordinary yet. Don't hold me to that. Okay, pretty standard start. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to say about those Leona masteries. In fact, Jonathan, you can pull up the Leona masteries and look at it and just like give me a one-word impression.
The Leona masteries have 9 in offense and 21 in defense.
Yeah, but look at what defensive masteries he takes.
Pretty much like a lot of it is early game focus, including enchanted armor, bladed armor.
Yeah, my boys got no scaling and jungle masteries. We're gonna work on that one. I mean,
also, as Leona, you don't really need anything in offense. Your goal is to CC bot.
I got a really easy flash at a Gun and Roses, playing so aggro against the young Fizzarino. Honestly, I think that Will Nail is doing a pretty decent job of not getting harassed too much. Because now looking at they're both level 2, he's got three charges on his flash, 2 health potions, and he's still healthy. And Annie just got beat the hell out of. She has no health potions. That's so good for Fizz right now. That's crazy good for Fizz. This bot lane matchup, you're gonna see that Leona's probably gonna take a lot of damage really early on, like, which is uncharacteristic for a Leona player to get beat up that bad, but she got plus 30 AP. I don't know if that was an accident or if that was intentional, or it's not very good is what I'm like trying to get at.
That was a very good word by J4 catching out Vi. He knew that she was probably going to try a counter gank, or provide pressure because he's doing pretty good against. Actually, I take that back. He's not CSing that very well, but he's pushing the lane turret into the lane into his turret.
Well, let me go know if you guys can't hear Jonathan very well. I'll try and fix that.
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah. Oh, good job on Admiral Nico applying pressure to this mid lane because he knows that Annie's flash is down and he knows that his Fizz can do hella damage, so why not sit and camp this kid? I think Shannock needs to be a little wary there and engaging without Annie. Like, she's pretty low. She has mana, but she's a little bit further out of range. So I think that blue team could still turn that 2v2 despite them being at half health. But they just have to be careful about it.
It's an interesting path by Poe junglers because Shannock has been, or Guns N' Roses has been, Nico has been seen by that ward. So they know it's going to be a 2v2.
Oh, and the first blood. That easy. You can't be overzealous when you're playing against the young Fizz. Fizz is really, really good about having a deceptive amount of damage. Oh, we also have like the 1v1 kill going on top lane, which is surprising to me that Swain killed J4 pre. Honestly, I think it's that an Ignite coming into play, and also I think J4 may have gotten overzealous with its EQs. Usually in that matchup, you're just going to want to poke with Q instead of like over-committing using EQ against Swain, because Swain can punish you really hard if he has minion advantage. He like drops his E on you, which is that little thing that splurts, that increases his overall damage it's done to you, and his minion wave will just wreck you. So.
Now I was watching. J4 had a pretty big. He had Swain had a big wave going on.
Okay.
And J4 kept trying to move in range to CS. And Swain just kept poking and poking and poking, and then...
Alright, going on to that fight at bot lane.
Oh.
Leona's going pretty aggro. Pretty much the whole thing started off when Trist got hooked, and you should never be hooked in lane. You should try to dodge it, because if you do, it's really... you lose a lot of pressure, and you get chunked pretty hard, especially against this lane comp. And when we saw that fight, Leona should have exhausted immediately to prevent the burst damage from going out. Exhaust is insanely strong because in a 2v2 bot lane, if you exhaust, the AD carry pretty much does no damage at all, and the support does a lot more. So he probably should have exhausted there a lot sooner, but you know, it was a good disengage by Leona and Trist.
And also that would have been the saving grace of having the plus 30 AP, is that if you can mitigate the other AD carry's burst, and it's like the two supports dealing damage, that's the one time that plus 30 AP will actually come in handy on Leona, is that you're going to burst really hard. We got the fish coming out of Whale Nailer. I don't think he's actually going to get a kill here, but he's actually definitely going to force Annie out of lane. He just should not overcommit to this, because if she hits 6, she's going to press R and he's going to die. In fact, he should just leave lane right now. Disregard the flash Q. My bad, dog. Didn't mean any disrespect. Well, Nailer looks like he has things under control. In most situations, if Annie were that close to 6, I think what happened is that since Fizz got the first blood on Annie, you get a really big experience advantage when you get first blood. Or if you get any kill at all in lane, you'd have massive experience advantage. And on top of that, the wave was pushing toward Annie, so she lost all that experience. So I think that Annie had a much further way to go to 6 than he did. Oh shit! Whoops.
Oh.
The Birdman goes down.
Looking at top, that was just a overextension by Swain, and J4 just forced it out with Kha'Zix. Yep. As a top laner, you should be buying wards pretty often, like especially if you get the first kill advantage, because the jungler is going to try to camp. Typically, the jungler is going to try to camp you to get advantage back to their original laner.
In terms of top laners, I know a lot of you like to think that you're on an island, and for the most part, that's true. The thing is I'd say between 0 to about 9 minutes, everyone being level 6, you need to be careful about what you're doing, especially if you get a kill like Jonathan was saying. If you get the kill advantage, the enemy jungler is going to want to come up and get his top laner back ahead, because he knows what's going to happen if he lets that go unchecked, is that you're going to rape him for the next 30 minutes. What he wants to do is to even the thing out. The only time that he's not going to come gank you is when everyone's post 6 and dragon control becomes really important. Pre 6, no one's really going to care because nothing's going to happen or big enough to where bot lane loses an advantage most of the time, to where they can go and take dragon. On top of that, they're not strong enough to kill dragon. But in that window, pre-6 is a pretty good window for where they can kill you. And then immediately after they kill Dragon, you need to be aware that the jungler is most likely going to go kill your ass. Like, any other time, you don't have to ward, don't really worry about it. You have a pretty good window where everyone's post-6, Dragon hasn't been taken yet. Don't worry about warding, it's probably not going to happen. And you can kind of look at it as an advantage. Like, if they come gank you, you know your team's going to go do Dragon and, like, force down bot or force down mid. Most of the time. In lower elo, that might not happen all the time. But generally, you have that window. But just know that if Dragon dies and you're top lane and you're winning, ward, because I promise you the jungler's gonna gank you. Like, I make it a point to the moment I kill Dragon, I will go kill top lane. It's like just the only time where it's efficient to kill the top lane, and the only time when it's safe. Because generally, ganking top lane is a really inefficient route. Because, I mean, I'll gank mid over and over again, because when I go do my race, I'm gonna go do wolves now. Oh, what do you know? There's a lane here. I can just go kill the person in mid lane. So you'll go to race, you'll kill mid, then go to wolves. So just keep that in mind. Like, junglers don't like going out of their way to do things that aren't in their jungler routes. I mean, maybe that's just Pickrus being lazy, but that's what Pickrus does most of the time. Like, he doesn't like ganking out the lane. So we got another gank going on top and a skirmish going down in bot lane. Looks like Swing got away from top. Really good exhaust on Lucian. Beautiful exhaust on Lucian. I feel like that box should have came down sooner. And I don't know if Thresh had exhaust, but that would have really helped out there. I hope Thresh isn't going on that. Good free damage on Triss, but I think he's going to die for it. Yeah.
And going back to Thresh, as an AD carry, or as a support, you have to, the moment you see the Thresh come out, or the Leona dive in, you have to E her away, because if she gets a stun, then you're in trouble.
And honestly, blue team should I say that they should go rotate to do Dragon right now, but honestly they can't because their mid laner had to back, and they have a lot of kill pressure coming out from Atney, and I think Vi has her assault and battery up, so that'd be a really bad call. So good job on red team having enough pressure mid to stop any sort of Dragon coming out of blue team. But then again, I feel like since they committed so much resources to top a few moments ago, if Vi had gotten her bot lane to pull off and had Annie come with him, because Annie was already forcing Fizz out of mid lane, they could have done a Dragon like pretty easily.
And going in mid lane, look at the CS difference. Even though Fizz has had so much kills, Annie's still doing pretty good because of jungle pressure and B, because she actually has range, and she's been focusing on CS pretty well. She's been CSing pretty well. Because if we look at gold count, Annie actually has more gold than Fizz despite being down a kill.
Another thing that I want to bring into context is their choice of items. So when I play Fizz, I generally like almost always go double Doran's rings into like the items I actually want, like my Sheen. That's because Fizz has really good base values. Fizz is also really squishy, and Fizz is also really good at taking a small amount of gold, gold efficiency, and making it into a big deal. What I mean by that is like 2 Doran's ring on Fizz, you may as well have like a completed item at the time in which it's coming out. I don't think Lucian should have ulted there. Lucian straight up should have E'd in, Q'd her, and there's double auto. Like, those autos would have killed Tristana. The ultimate won't. You usually only want to use Lucian's ult to clear out waves or to harass people that you can't reach otherwise. You almost shouldn't ever use his ultimate like that. But anyway, back to the whole Fizz thing, is that I honestly would have won a few Doran rings before I went into Shane. I mean, there's not anything wrong with it. It's just that, like, even though Fizz had kills over Annie, Annie was still stronger in terms of stats, because Doran's ring is so gold efficient. On top of that, Doran's rings also help a ton with the amount of mana that Fizz like eats up, because I mean his E by itself is something like 120 mana level 1, and that's huge. So I would probably invest in more Doran's rings next time. Got a good E on Lucian.
That's a very good E by Thresh. He saves his AD.
One thing that I noticed is like both bot lane players are silver. You oftentimes see that one like the support or the AD carry overcommitting, like compared to what their counterpart is doing. So like Leona was going a little ham there, and Tristana was like way too low to have done anything. So if they had actually gotten into a fight, they would have 100% lost. So that's one thing you need to be like more concerned about. Like that's something even I'm really bad about, is I'm not too aware of the positioning of my team, and I'll overcommit to things. So like in bot lane, that's even more important. You don't want to do something without your support or your AD, because that could have gone south really fast. It looks like Kha'Zix is okay. He's just clearing it out or checking it out, I guess. Yeah. I would like to see a few more of these chum the waters land though, because Annie almost turned that 2v1 into a 1v2. That's something you shouldn't use your chum the waters on Fizz from that range. Like, the thing is that his WQ combo is really good for closing the gap and landing Chum the Waters. So usually you don't want to use Chum the Waters unless you're on top of the person, because there's no reason to, you know? Just like WQ on top of them, hit R, and you get a free R. Like, 'cause if he lands those, he kills Annie. If he misses them, he might get globaled or 1v2'd. And like, because of that now, like, okay, what they're doing right now, Fizz and Kha'Zix, they need to just like they need to leave. Like, there's no point in them standing next to this turret right now. That's another big mistake that you see at Lorilo. Like, there's no reason to be standing at that turret, and Fizz is gonna die there. Like, when you get that low, you're not doing anything standing by your turret if you have no wave clear. So if you know your bot lane's coming, if you know that they both have ultimates, I guess Annie didn't, but Vi still had Assault and Battery. There's no, like, and Kha'Zix is still staying. Like, Kha'Zix, leave, dude. Like, now he's gonna die. You can't stand there. It's not doing anything for your team. You're not. They know you're not a threat, because if they thought you were a threat, they wouldn't be standing there pushing your turret. So now they lose 2 mid turrets, like outer and inner. Annie's caught back up to Fizz, and that could get problematic really fast. Good job by bot lane roaming in though. But yeah, like, once again, once you guys see that situation and you know that you guys don't have any wave clear, you know you're both low, you know they can kill you, don't just stand there, because you're gonna get like wrecked. And I think that was an overstay on them.
Back out, come back. Maybe the turret's down to half, but you don't give up 2 kills and another turret. Or what bot lane could have done is send the support to roam mid to hold a lane, because they knew that they just saw that bot lane, red team bot lane just backed.
Yep.
Going back to map wards, it's a pretty good map coverage by red team, but if you're pushing down that deep, I like to see you place down the wards you buy, especially the jungler for red team, Shannock. He bought 2 stealth wards and he bought a vision ward a few minutes ago, and he hasn't placed them down at all. Wards are no good if you buy them and don't use them.
What to talk about during this game? Okay, so there's actually a 1k gold lead in favor of red team, which is largely due to the two turrets that I like freaked out about a few minutes ago. Like, I know I'm harping on it, but it's driving me nuts. Okay, really good. Okay, that was actually really good. It's a shame they didn't get a kill, but so like, there were 2 problems there. It's like, blue team didn't have vision control of their own jungle. They still don't, and then they just walked into it. It's really good by red team knowing that blue team's blue buff was coming up, and that's largely because Shannock just took his own blue and knew that his red was going to be spawning soon. So when that happens, you know that the other jungler stuff is probably spawning at the same time, and they also had a ward there. So that was a good like little ambush they set up. When you're ahead, it's good to pressure the other enemy's jungler. I mean, even if you're just taking his wolves, since so many people buy the since every single person like needs their big camps to get gold income. Also, Annie hell overextended. Good for Vi understanding that his mid laner's overextended, because now he just forced a flash to the Fizz. Okay, that's really good. Okay, back to what I was saying. Since every jungler is relying on killing their big camp to getting some kind of benefit, whether it's 40 gold or a stack on Feral Flare, anything that you take from the enemy jungler is actually huge. Like, most people don't think about it, but the moment that you win your lane, mid or top, you need to start pressuring the enemy jungler, because you make him lose out on so much gold and you make him so much more afraid. So like, what they're doing right here is fantastic. Like, they don't have vision of it. I think it's kind of dumb that they're face checking all of it, especially with the bot lane roaming right now. Like, Shannock should not be doing what he's doing right now. That is way too ballsy. But I mean, the idea of walking into their jungle and like applying pressure to it is a good idea. What they're missing from this like really good strategy is wards. And their bot lane is losing. Like, you don't do that when your bot lane is losing and you have no vision of their jungler. Don't walk into their jungle. You can walk into it, but it's only if you're warding it. What they need right now is to stall long enough for their either bot lane. Honestly, I don't feel like their bot lane needs to catch up per se. I think their bot lane should just group with them and either like shove down bot or shove down top. I think Gun and Roses needs to get the hell out of mid lane, because there's nothing there. Like, there's no reason for you to still be chilling there, dude. There's like, you killed both turrets.
Moby boots and applying pressure on the rest of the map.
Yeah, like, he should just be wrecking every, like, even though he's only 242, he's a strong Annie right now. He's level 11, which is a huge power spike. He's stronger than Fizz right now. He should just be going to bot lane and just globaling this Tristana.
It's a good dragon pickup by red team too.
Yeah, so red team's playing it really smart. They know they have an Annie. Even though the AD carry is stronger on blue team, having your mid laner strong in mid game, I know it sounds like really silly, but that's the most important thing. Is that you're abusing your mid laner's power spike, and in Annie's case, her mid game is terrifying. I mean, Annie doesn't really fall off in my opinion. I think she loses some of the like strength of other mids, in that she's not like a Yasuo pick, she's not like a Syndra pick where it's like constant AoE damage or like constant large scale damage going out at all times, but she's always going to be damn good at making one person explode. So that's what they need to abuse right now, especially in this mid game. So bot lane picked up that bottom lane turret that's really good. Top lane turret's gone. So at this point, they need to just take control of the enemy team's jungler and apply pressure to like one of these inner turrets. Since Dragon's going to be down for the next few minutes, I think we're looking at, I can't see the timer. I think it's probably like 5 more minutes from now because I just took it. They need to be taking over the enemy team's jungler and applying pressure to one of those inner turrets or just setting up picks. Because, I mean, the ability to actually siege an inner turret isn't so high right now. That was an interesting juke, but it was a juke nonetheless.
And also another possible criticism is if you buy your red trinket, use it everywhere. Okay, I can see they're not using it. They're not using it now, but typically once you hit level 9 and you get the upgrade trinket, you can destroy so many wards so much faster and create a lot more pressure on the map. Because I know Grant said this last game, wards win games. If you have vision, you can create picks through rotations, and that's how you win solo queue games.
I mean, in terms of vision, red team actually has, I mean, blue team's doing a pretty decent job. When you get behind like this, I know it's hard to do, but they should really be purchasing more pink wards than they are. You should use pink wards as defensive wards so you can use your green wards more offensively. If you're having to use all your green wards, like defending your own jungle, you don't really have good vision of the enemy team. You can't ever make plays because you're restrained to having temporary wards inside your own jungle. So every 3 minutes, you have to spend more wards on like protecting yourself or covering your own ass. What you want to do is be able to have buy the pink ward, put in a place that you know you can protect. So like this pink ward right here is god tier. That's a fantastic pink ward. A pink ward here would be great. You can defend that pretty easily. A pink ward there would be great. Pink ward here would be great. All those places are good places to lay pinks, and if someone tries to clear it from the enemy team, they have the catch potential from Leona and Jarvan to punish the person for it. So that's the thing you need to do. They need to put the pink wards in places they know they want to protect, and they need to watch them so that when someone goes to clear them, they can punish the person for it. That's hard to do in solo queue. It wouldn't be so hard to do with raid call. So that's something that like blue team, like when they see this VOD, they need to take into consideration. I mean, it also works in solo queue. It's not something that you can only do in like organized fives. And if you have those pink wards placed close enough to your team, they're gonna react when the enemy team is just like, oh, I'm gonna go kill this pink ward. Like you gotta punish them for that, especially when you have Kha'Zix, Leona, Jarvan, Fizz. Like if someone gets caught out by themselves, they're dead, 100%.
All right, so top like wards. He has 0 wards, and now he's caught by Swain. He's not gonna get away. He's done. He's already behind, and he decided to build a brutalizer pickaxe.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with Jarvan is like if you get ahead, you're ahead. If you're behind, you're really behind. Like now he just has to be a standard top bruiser. I mean it would have been really nice to see him snowball ahead of the Swain and just like do hella damage at all phases of the game, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Kha'Zix really is his team. I feel like it's bold that he sat there and kept taking that blue buff considering his entire team had backed out. If red team had rotated on the Kha'Zix like they are right now, like they could have killed him. Now Vi is horrendously overextended though.
It was a good jump and flash though by Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Because you can't disengage Vio. It's like Maokai W. If you go in, you're gonna go into wherever the target is.
Yep.
And that can be a pretty long distance.
And it looks like she traveled to Narnia with that one, so rest in peace, Vi.
Point of build? It's a really interesting pickup to see both junglers have sight stones. It's good as a jungler to provide map vision for your team, especially if your team isn't really
having much vision, but it delays your offensive stats behind. I'm not a fan of that in solo queue, just because I prefer buying less sight wards and making up with pink wards. But this also is a fantastic strategy. I know Picarus, Challenger and Jungler for A&M does it, but it's also dependent on how you like to play. Oh,
really good flash.
By Annie. So you got the DSG, you got the ult down. Annie this game will 100-0 everyone on the team.
Okay, in terms of builds,
Annie,
I like Vice. Oh, go ahead.
Annie, once you have DSG on as Annie, you hit one of the strongest power spikes, and he's doing a very good job of abusing that. Going back to your VE build.
Oh yeah. So in terms of like, I like Vice build a lot right now because like she invested in some damage. She picked up the Spirit of the Lizard. She picks up Brutalizer, which scales really well on Vice. She's really good base value, so I'm really good pick by Thresh. This is exactly what they want to do right now. So they're eventually going to pressure down this turret, and they're getting tons of kills for it. Good response by Jarvan to be able to pick up mid turret, but I honestly feel like he should be with. I probably want to say he should be with his team, but then again, looking at his items, I don't know how good he'd actually be for his team because all he is damage right now, and it's not very much of it. But yeah. Vi's build, so she picks up the Brutalizer. She has really good penetration. She has good base values to benefit from armor penetration. So she gets the Brutalizer, she gets the CDR, and he got caught for no reason there. Unsafe recalls, guys. But immediately she starts building a lot of health, and health is good on Vi because of the shield that she gets from her passive on like ability usage. So like health scales really well with her, and people like seem to think that they either need just armor or just magic resist, but they don't understand the function of armor and magic resist. Armor and magic resist pretty much increase your effective health by 1% for every point that you get. So if you're going against a team that has mixed damage, sometimes it's better to just buy more health than it is to itemize for any one particular thing at a given time. Especially early game when your health pool is like much smaller, so effective health increases don't give you as much benefit. That's a really like specific case thing that has to do with like game knowledge, but when you're buying defensive items toward the earlier section of the game, armor and magic resist aren't nearly as viable or valuable because the amount of overall health that you have is not as much. That's because effective health is the amount of health that it appears that your champion has when it calculates damage from AD or AP, as opposed to your actual health. And I can like explain that more if people have questions later. But if I shouldn't have done that, I can respect the attempt to try to steal Baron, but you shouldn't do that when you have no vision. So now Swain's gonna die for no reason too, but he is Swain, so we'll see. Yeah, he's dead. So that actually gave blue team a pretty good advantage to come back into the game. They're only down like less than 2k gold now.
And they do have a large Tristana too, and that's will be a factor coming to late game. Even despite Tristana's nerfs, which makes her lane phase even worse than it already is, she's still a strong late game. And you still have the typical, you have 706 range, no one can do anything about you.
So notice the blue team slowly transitioning their wards from their own jungle toward like red side jungle. So when you have your ward set up like this, what I'm assuming that you're going to do is that you're going to want to go and pressure bot inner turret. So we'll see if that's actually what blue team wants to do right now. But the way that their wards are set up, bot inner turret appears to be the target. And like so when you're dealing with vision, you want to have your wards reflect what you're trying to do. So like if I were trying to get top outer turret right now, which is what I would actually want to do as blue team, because like it's slowly approaching like that Baron phase, and we have like no control over the top side of the map because there are 2 top turrets up there. Their ward should reflect that. So I want to see those two pinks on red side dead by blue team. I want to see once again, like whenever you do that on a Fizz, you really should not use Shun the Waters unless you're in range for WQ. Like it's harder to say against Annie, but like if you just fire Chum the Waters like that, you're gonna miss like 9 times out of 10, and so far I think it's like 0 for 8 on those Chum the Waters that are done from range. Like that's not something you want to use on Fizz from a range. There's no reason to. You have an ability to gap close for that. But So now blue team's playing around the top side of the map, but they have no wards there. So like, in every way, they're at a disadvantage here because they can't see anything when they fight. Like blue team can't see anything when they're doing these fights. Like, they have no idea what's going on, but they're picking these fights anyway. So they need to be fighting where they have wards. Wards aren't important just for seeing when you're gonna get ganked. Wards are important for seeing like how fight should be playing out. That's something that most people don't appreciate. So, like, if I had an Ahri pick on blue team and I were using Spirit Rush, all these places that are dark when we're fighting, my Spirit Rush wouldn't even hit targets that are in those bushes or in that fog of war. I mean, on blue team right now, they don't have any abilities that act like Ahri Spirit Rush or Foxfire, but it's something to keep in mind. Like, you might not play Ahri, but if you have an Ahri on your team, if she can't see inside of a bush, she can't do damage to people inside of it using her abilities that aren't skill shots. And so, like, it just changes the way you play too.
Even in general, if you're fighting in a bush, ward that bush. Just because you need vision to land your targeted spells and auto attacks. Leona going a bit deep in for a ward. Good exhaust by Thresh to mitigate a lot of business damage.
It's actually really strong by Thresh is that whenever you take someone, whenever you know, if you know what people's highest damage, oh, really good hook by Thresh, damn good hook by Thresh, and Jarvan's gonna die. Like, he got punished really hard for that.
Thresh has been landing on point, like, plays and hooks in team fights. I've been a criticism of his plays in lane, but he stopped. He's had successful ganks. He's prevented people from jumping away. He's played very, very well.
Another thing to point out is that you see Thresh's mobility boots, Leona doesn't. I think that was a mistake on Leona's part. You really want to get mobility boots fairly early on supports these days because they roam so often. Like, I can't tell you how many times like I'm playing at like plat 1 D5 and there's like I'm level 3 and a fucking Thresh just like rolls into my lane at level 2 and kills me. And I'm pissed off of my bot lane because I didn't say anything. I'm pissed off of my jungler for like their support having more presence in my lane than he does. But I mean it's just a fact that, like, that's the current meta. If the support sees an opportunity, it's so easy for him to go roam now that he's going to. So like be aware of that. Leona, I honestly think should have picked up, or like if not mobility boots, she needs tier 2 of some kind of boots. You lose a lot of mobility in this game. Is honestly I feel like one of the most valuable stats by far. Mobility lets you go make plays. Mobility lets you avoid ganks. Mobility lets you pressure places. And lacking mobility, you're doing a lot less of all those things that I just mentioned. And as the support, especially if you never support and you suck at laning. Like we mentioned, I'm not saying that the Thresh sucks at laning, but like Jonathan was saying, in lane he was making a lot of mistakes. Kid starts walking around the map, he's mad life all of a sudden. So like, keep that in mind. If you're not very good at laning, you can just leave lane with mobility boots. Is your key to say, you know, I don't want to play with this AD carry anymore, or I don't want to sit in this lane anymore. I'm gonna go kill somebody. Honestly, that'll also make support a lot more fun for some people too. So,
especially if you play a roam heavy support, such as Thresh or even Janna at times.
Any support can also do it, yeah.
You're going to be around the map a lot. However, you gotta make sure that you time your roam so your AD carry doesn't 1v2. Because if you have your AD carry 1v2, he's gonna go back behind. And even if you got your bot lane ahead in the first place, that's a very good pick by blue team. Shannock was overextended warding. He should have. Okay,
honestly, blue team should Baron right now. Like, they should be Baroning. They should be pinging the hell out of Baron right now, because like I know that they don't see red team right now, but like they had dragon timers, so they should have just gone to Baron. Like their whole team was there, and their jungler was dead. Like, man, and honestly, in terms of red team stopping them, the most they had to stop them from doing Baron would be Annie with DFG. And like, sure, that's a lot of damage, but it's not like the enemy team had a Katarina, you know? So they honestly should just ping Baron. They're all in position, like, and I guess that's a consequence of like blue team not having good vision control. Because if they had seen that the red team was that dragon, they would have had no hesitation going to Baron.
That's an interesting build by Leona. I'll talk about this later on in the team fight. But that was Annie and Swain just doing a lot of damage to the team. Lucian just help cleaning up. But going for Leona's build, I'm not sure why you would build a
what is that? Iceborne
Gauntlet?
Gauntlet. Just because you don't really need the CC, what you need is you need MR to help your team go against a Swain Annie, because that comp does a lot of AoE damage. And you said Annie was a Annie's a very strong single target, yes, but her W and her ult do a pretty significant amount of AoE. And you factor in Swain with his ult, it gets even worse. Helps also mitigate his healing.
Mad Life going in. Getting the hook. Forcing the flash. This Thresh is everywhere. He heard you talking about him, dude. He heard you talking about him. He didn't like the disrespect.
No. What I would have done is I would have waited for Triss to jump and then eat her back to prevent her from jumping away. He's done that 3 to 4 times already, just on Triss, but I think it'll help me make.
Please don't tell me she's getting away with that. Please don't tell me Michael's getting away with that.
Michael got away with that.
Okay, so what Gun N' Roses did was absolutely stupid. Like he really shouldn't have done that. That was just blatantly being greedy. But I'll hand it to him. He got out of it really well. Good attempt by Blue Team to try and punish that, but they didn't time their CC with the end of Zonia's and the flash. I honestly would have liked to see them kill Michael for that.
Silver?
Dude, I know, right? This kid, he's a man.
Okay, outside of lane, he's been playing better than most Diamond Thrushes I know. He's done really well in stopping people from getting away. Just need to work on his laning phase and he'll be golden.
At least, maybe platinum. Spanking Muffin going hard. He's gonna kill Tristana. Oh man, that's disrespecting the Swain damage right there. Kid gets so much lifesteal for no reason. Oh my god. That damage. Rest in peace, Leona. And you know what helped Leona right there? An Aegis. You know what helped Leona's entire team right there? An Aegis.
Especially if you're going against a strong Swain and a strong Annie, you typically want to go to Aegis. Or against strong magic damage in general.
Like an Aegis would have been good. They could have used like a Mikhail's will help whenever someone gets locked down from Annie or Swain. Like, I have a lot of synergy with that Swain lockdown coming in with Tibber stun. They're going for the trifecta here, killing the third inhibitor to it. Honestly, I don't see Blue Team coming back from this. What they needed to do is put out those defensive pinks like I'd mentioned before and realize that, hey, we're a pick comp. We're really good at getting picks. So in terms of like the overall game and what could have gone better, I feel like once Blue Team started falling behind, they didn't respect the fact that they were a pick comp. They can't team fight nearly as well as like an Annie. I mean, Annie and Swain have a ton of like lockdown, but they also have a ton of AoE damage. And since they didn't have an Aegis from Leona or even from Jarvan or Kha'Zix, when Jarvan started falling behind, it wouldn't have been bad for him to pick up the Aegis instead of just itemizing straight damage. They weren't going to win team fights at that point. What they needed to do was realize, hey, we have a Fizz. We can all stand in a bush, pull a Fnatic, stand here. Someone's going to walk by. We dump all of our stuff on them and just, like, blow them up. That's what they really would have wanted to have gotten done to get back in the game. But they kept, like, getting into really awkward team fights. But I think the game's over, but we'll see what happens in the next few minutes. Also, I feel like for Fizz, instead of picking up the DFG, like Azonia's would have been better because, like, I was talking about the Aegis not being on blue side. Red side also could have like benefited from an Aegis, not nearly as much, but to mitigate the Fizz damage. So, and since that item wasn't there, Fizz can go into Azonia's, and like he's gonna kill people anyway. But I'll also have like a get out of jail free card when he realizes that, hey, we have Swain stun, we have Annie stun, we have Assault and Battery, we have Thresh Hook, we have Thresh Lantern, like. There's a lot of stuff that Fizz doesn't want to get hit by, and since his main form of engagement, which is Jarvan, didn't build defensively and is going to explode, he doesn't really have a way to get into the fight without getting beat up. This last fight just gonna be a stomp. The gold lead's way too big. Oh my goodness, that Swain damage. I mean, like, see, when you fight against a comp like that, at what point are you ever going to kill Lucian? You're not. Like, you have Vi, you have Swain, and you have Annie stun. Like, you're not, and then the box, like, man. Okay, so, like, overall, I think blue team did a pretty good job at the beginning. They had decent vision control. The problem started being happening when they started falling behind, and they let red team take their jungle over. Is Leona in Raidco right now?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, what's up, dude? You actually had a pretty
no, that's not me. That's the Monkey 96.
Oh, I actually muted his voice because his music was his the stream was playing through him. Oh, okay. Honestly, I think your landing phase was it was pretty decent. You had a really good place. If you have time later, I'll talk to you about your runes and masteries because like a lot of your runes, like you're running plus 30 AP on Leona, and I don't know if that was an accident or not, but you really don't want to do that. Leona has like meh AP scaling to begin with. But in terms of like support and bot lane, you really want to run a lot of armor, and you want to run like health cleanse because that increases your survivability and that'll help your AD brawl more. The issue is that like you had like a decent amount of burst, but if at any point Thresh had you guys locked down, you were getting blown up.
And also, your passive does more damage, like combined with your AD, than a lot of AP would do.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you really don't want to run AP on Leona. Also, your masteries, you have a lot of, like, masteries in the lower tiers on defensive. There's a lot of really good masteries that you're missing out in the later tiers, like I'd say tier 4, tier 5. Like, the reduced critical strike chance by 10, or reduced critical strike damage by 10%, which is freaking huge. Jungler for blue side. Norman, I think you were really good at the beginning of the game. You've had a lot of focus on Annie, which was good because even though your Fizz was playing Fizz and Annie, it was good that you were in mid lane because you got that really early flash from Michael because he overextended really hard.
Sit mid lane so long to make sure you didn't come back.
Yeah, that was so good. Like you made sure that like that Vi wasn't gonna go up there to try to help Jarvan. Problem is that Jarvan died 1v1 to Swain anyway. So then you had this.
I kind of neglected that lane, unfortunately. Like I was like, should I go for it? Should I not? And then,
yeah, I mean.
And then Jarvan went damage, and I was just like, ah, shit. I'm just gonna like hopefully keep this from dying. And the problem was that like we gave up like 2 turrets like 15 minutes in.
Yeah,
like,
okay, that's what I want to talk about. Like, I actually wanted to slap both of you because like when you're that low and you have no wave clear and you know they like I know you both knew they could kill you, but you just like stood there instead of just like backing and like getting your health back.
Like I was actually going like, yeah, no, I was like, team, get over here, team, please, come, please, team, team.
Friggin',
and I was like,
dude,
I'm
Michael, and I was like, we're pushing this. I'm like, get your stun up, we're gonna kill them both.
Like, I was pinging the team, and I was like, please, God, Michael, do not flash stun me right now, because I will be like super salty because my team did not respond to me.
Yeah, like the thing is like when you guys don't have wave clear for that,
I called
like
them over on the first turret. Dude. Like, oh my gosh. I feel like I should have been more vocal.
He E'd like into both of us. I was like, why didn't you just do this?
Dude, because balls deep, man.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated that Will Naylor like had the balls to like say, Hanny, I'm not taking your shit. Like at level 3, he didn't get harassed too much. Level 1, 2, like Michael screwed up that lane so bad. Like that should have been like 100% free lane at that point. He blew both health potions, had Doran's ring, that was it. And you had 3 charges on your flask, 3 health potions. You had just popped one. You had the same amount of health as he did. He had no flash. Like that would have been the freest lane in the world. But like one thing that like Michael did that was really smart that you didn't do is that Michael built 2 Doran's rings. He was like, well, I'm getting my ass beat. I want to get advantage in this lane, so he picked up 2 Doran's rings, gets like fatty damage. You immediately go into Sheen. We're like, I'll buy at least 1 Doran's ring, at least, even if I'm ahead, and maybe 2 Doran's rings before going into Sheen. But like when you go straight into Sheen, you're way squishier than he is, and that's great for him as Annie because he's just gonna like unload on you, and just the fact that he has almost 200 more HP than you, he's gonna come out ahead. So like, I mean, that's the only thing that bit you in the butt. And also, I think that you guys, like, once you guys started falling behind, you should have, like, taken vision control, warded all your shit, and, like, when they go to clear your pink, you Fizz, Jarvan, Leona, kill them. Like, the amount of pick potential you guys have for anyone that tries to clear out a ward was massive. Like, if they ever walked in your jungle, you should have just raped them.
Yeah, I was going in top, but no one was responding either.
I mean, if you guys were just like on different pages of the book, like Jarvan's going balls deep, Kha'Zix is like, I'm not feeling it. Fizz is like in the enemy, like inner turret with 2 turrets up, and at the y'all seem just like, Fizz, you're on your own, bro.
Yeah. I committed twice later, but that was probably too late at that point.
Oh, by the way, the Thresh on Red Team is a god, like straight up. He's Jesus, literally Jesus. Kid was going in. Like I've never seen so many abilities get interrupted from the enemy team in my entire life. Like Jarvan EQ, flayed. Like Kha'Zix jump, queued.
Yeah, I was
Thresh player
gonna
was.
tear apart. I was gonna tear apart their team like 2 or 3 times, and fucking Thresh just plays me, and I'm like, well, okay.
Like Kid had the best, like his like laning phase was kind of meh. We were being really critical,
yeah,
and then
I agree.
he hits mid game. Kid just goes off, like made literally everyone on blue team his bitch. Like respect.
Honestly, he's plays better than most Diamond Threshers I know. Outside
Like-
laning phase, you did so many interruptions.
Yeah.
You stopped a lot of jump aways. I saw you do it to.
I promise they were all on purpose.
Okay, and then like bot lane, I mean, honestly, I think you guys played the 2v2 matchup really well. Trist, you actually had good positioning at all times. Like, I look at your score, you're 3, 2, and 5. It doesn't look like your team lost by
Plus
13,000 gold.
Farmed.
Yeah, and
Probably 30.
yeah, like, and Trish was up like 30 CS. You guys did really well in the laning phase. It was just like transitioning mid game, and when your mid was getting like completely crushed like that, you guys really needed to back out and go help them out because you were already winning lane. So you should have just left, went mid lane, stopped that wave from pushing, saved your inner turret. That would have taken a ton of pressure off your mid and jungle, and they wouldn't have died in like a pretty embarrassing manner. Which is like, I was like, they're going to die.
I was like beyond salty. I was like, why are we not coming to defend?
Well, the
these
thing is,
turrets?
like, next time, like, when jungle, because I mean, jungle has more vision typically than other lanes. Jungle needs to point out which lanes are already pushing out, because bot was pushing out, so bot should have gone through.
Yeah.
I was actually getting pushed against by
I saw you
Swain,
getting
so I
pushed. I
couldn't
probably
do
should have been more. Probably should have been more exact because I just said like guys. So I probably should have said like.
Yeah, you should say bot lane, like yeah, Tristana, Leona, come mid, because I mean, like, also they're not. I mean, I'm not pointing anything out, but like they're lower elo than you guys, so you guys should know, hey,
Yeah.
we need you guys to come rotate because we can't hold this.
Yeah,
We don't
that was my
like
bad.
that's
Like,
y'all's
I was
only
probably-
wave
I
clear.
was probably like way too vague in what I was saying.
Yeah, like y'all have no. That's I mean that's a comp problem too, because your only wave clear is coming out of Tristana with and he didn't build static shiv. It was building static shiv toward the end. One thing I will say, Trist, instead of going bloodthirst second, most people like wait off on their lifesteal until like a third or fourth item. A static shiv would have been stronger for like a power spike there because you'd have gotten the attack speed and the critical strike. I still think your position was really good. I would just like build an attack speed item second, maybe go last whisper third, and your fourth item can be your lifesteal item. And that'll help you out, especially since you guys had no wave clear. Like, the static shiv would have been great for that. But yeah, whenever that happens, just rotate mid so your jungler doesn't die. Like,
Yeah, I kind of just zoned out there.
We had like a 4v2. Like we had
Oh, you're
Michael
good.
and Keaton like fucking screwed at my red and just not and like I was like just go sandwich just go in sandwich him and like freaking Leona's got the right idea. She just walks up and like just fucking goes in on Shannak, just like fucking goes in. And
Whoa, nothing was
and I
being
was just
said
like,
there.
where's Tristana?
You didn't say something. Leona just walked in.
I
and
go
was-
Like Leona went in, like Leona had the right idea. Like
I didn't know if we were on the same
guys
page.
walked
I
up?
said, I don't know if we should do this, and she just kept walking, like she didn't say anything.
Oh, I
to me.
didn't
If she
do
had
that.
said, let's
I was
go,
just,
let's
saying,
fight them,
go
I would have went
go
in.
Like, get this kid. Like, all I said was, like, get this kid. We gotta go in. Like, you guys, like, I saw you guys walking, and I was like, you guys are, like, I didn't want to, like, tell you guys to deviate from your path. So I'm just like, keep going. We got him. Like, go in there. And then, like, next thing I know, I see you farming golems. I'm like, and Vi gets away, and I think, like, one of us, like, almost dies.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest difference is that, like, just looking at you guys as, like, raid call icons, that red team was talking like a motherfucker, blue team was just kind of like, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. I think a lot of it was communication, but, like, when you guys fell behind, the only way you were ever going to get back in that game is through communication. Like, unless you guys set up picks to get kills, there was no way you're out team fighting a Swain Annie. Like, that's why he was going to kick Alex out of this game, because he's a huge troll, and he played, like, Swain top. When you get behind Swain top, the Swain is rank ignite, you're screwed. Like, you're not coming back from that, ever, in a million years. And, like, what he needed was jungle pressure, but, like, Norman was never able to get jungle pressure because, like I said, once you got the double Doran's ring buy from Annie, and Fizz didn't have the survivability to deal with Annie, Annie's just, like, globaling him every single tib result. So, like, now you have your jungler split between, okay, my bot lane is winning, my mid and top are losing. Honestly, at that point, I would have just gone bot lane because, like, you tried ganking for mid more after that point, it wasn't working. Oh, other thing, Dalton, is that I wouldn't use Chum the Waters from that far away. Like, I know it's really, like, it makes you want to because you know Annie's going to burst the shit out of you, but if you Chum the Waters from that far away, not only is she going to do that, she's also going to kill you every time because you're not going to get Chum the Waters damage. Like, I would wait until you close from the queue before using it.
Wait, is Chum the Waters E? No, that's
Your R.
I'm just learning how to play Fizz. Like,
like, yeah, let's play. He's like, yeah, I want to play Fizz, and I was like, oh.
This is honestly like my second Fizz game.
Oh
This
man.
is Academy, is it not? This is like super tryhard. I thought.
I know Keaton goes in on Vi. Like
people pick like other stuff that they're gonna stomp you with. It's hard to learn.
I saw the Vi lock, and I was like, Keaton's getting in that ass. And then I saw the Annie pick.
So I have a question.
Ganked back to back twice.
Wait, what's the question?
Fucking beat Norman. I was like,
Runes and Masteries for Thresh support.
Thresh support. Usually, I'll run like, I used to run 016-14. You'll see a lot of, so you want to pick up the 3 points in Perseverance, but Perseverance got nerfed, so like, I wouldn't take that for like the be-all end-all. A lot of people run 09-21 now, because they want the extra point and that 5% movement speed increase.
Okay, that's what I'm running.
Okay, it's probably fine. You can add me later, and I'll talk to you about it, and we can like take a bigger in-depth look at it. But yeah, I honestly think all of you guys like played pretty decently, and honestly, I thought Blue Team was gonna end up winning because you guys were dominating most of the early game matchups. It's just those rotations that weren't coming in, and then bot lane staying bot too long, Fizz not being able to and he's like a new Fizz player, like he said, so obviously he's not gonna notice something like that against an Annie pick, and then like not respecting the Annie Swain damage. Yeah, like, and then the Swain Annie damage, like that's too. Like I don't think you guys would have ever, even if the gold is even, I don't think you guys would have won any of those team fights. Like just because they have, like, how are you gonna get to Lucian ever? You're not like. There's a Vi like running through your team. I know. I saw you hit one. The first fizzle you had, you landed and you killed Annie. Everyone after that, you missed.
He landed one on me in the jungle over by Blue.
I think you used your ult more of a zoning.
They were like, oh, not gonna go there. Not
way clear.
Guys, we don't want that fight.
That's what it's for, right?
I think the problem was like I went really on tilt after we like straight up lost 2 towers.
I mean, I could tell because then you just started doing dumb shit like face checking bushes in your own jungle. You guys had no pinks, no vision. I was like, Norman's tilting now, so I mean, like they're probably screwed. What's up?
So they first picked Kha'Zix for Norman. What was I supposed?
No, I knew it was coming. Like I even called it in Champion Select. I was like, I guarantee they're going Kha'Zix here. They're getting a Vi pick.
Like when we started doing pick and bait. Fanbase, Noah was like, yo, let me pick for you. I was like, okay, what do you want? I was like, well, here's the thing. If you pick me Kha'Zix, he's gonna pick Vi. If you pick me Vi, he's gonna pick Kha'Zix. One way or another, there's gonna be a Kha'Zix Vi in this game because Lee Sin was banned because of what happened last game.
Holy crap! I placed 34 wards.
Yeah, I mean, like. Honestly, I also feel like it wasn't as much of a team effort. The supports were doing a pretty good job about dropping wards. Everyone else, like, you guys completely wet the bed. Like, you get, like, I mean, the only, like, I'll give it to the AD carry. Like, AD carries, like, a lot of times they won't buy wards, let's be honest. Even in LCS, these kids don't buy wards. But, like, there's no reason why, like, mid couldn't have had a pink, top couldn't have had a pink.
Shut the fuck up. I played more wards than my team, okay? I played more wards than anyone on my team.
Yeah,
he did.
Oh, I thought you were the support.
Wards like it was fucking hot.
I bought seven greens and 4 pinks.
I said both supports drop wards. Damn, Norman, chill.
Okay, who's the top laner?
Shots. Who blinked the one or Spank and Muffin?
He bought 0 wards.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oof.
I was trying something new with Jarvan. That's why I didn't want to spend money on
Yeah,
wards.
honestly, when you're playing Jarvan top and you start getting wrecked that hard, like, you need to just start buying defensive items. Because now, like, you guys had no engage, you had no one that lived long enough to peel for anybody.
No, I always build Jarvan off tank. I was just seeing what I could do with him full damage.
Oh, true. I mean, honestly, like, if you start getting ahead, like, if you get like first blood, like, Jarvan, that rape train has no breaks. You'll just like dump on Swain over and over again. If you had ignite, that's the other thing, is that you didn't have ignite. Like, when I saw that you weren't running ignite, like, I know you want teleport for the map control, but playing against Swain with no ignite, that's 100% cancer. Like, who's gonna build executioners? Who has ever built executioners calling? Be honest. Like, none of you. Okay, I did one time against a Galio and Earth. Like, that was the one exception that I played. That item sucks. Like.
I think they should change executioner's calling so that you can actually build it.
Yeah, because like right now it sucks and you have no answer. Like if Swain had been Vladimir, like this game would have been over. Like, oh my god.
Are we going? Are we doing another one?
I actually the last one for the night.
Okay.
I would do another one, but my girlfriend just cooked me food, and I would feel terrible if she cooked for no reason.
No canes.
No canes.
No, I heard that you locked her outside and in a real game.
Okay, that was not my fault. I opened the door and one of my roommates closed it. I didn't mean to lock her outside for 10 minutes. Like, so she tried getting in, and she was just sitting there, like, beating on the door, like, trying to get in. And I was in the zone, man.
Wait.
Did you play better? I can't remember how many times.
I don't know. I heard you were down like 60 something CS as first.
Hey, okay, I don't play any carry for one. B, playing into Caitlyn Janna is cancer. Like, that was absolutely awful. Caitlyn has 341 movement speed with Janna buff. Do you know how hard it is to get in range to do anything ever?
Hey, Khalil, how do you feel about Zed Akali?
Zed should get wrecked unless he has a pink ward every time he death marks.
Okay, that's what I feel. Go ahead, no, whoever was saying that. That's what I thought.
The last time that was our matchup, me against you mid, Zed, Drew, Akali. Like I did fine laning, but then you started to roam and fucking like I couldn't do anything.
Honestly, I would never pick Zed or Yasuo into Akali because Akali can win the game off of your team being retarded. Zed will have to win off of your team not playing perfectly.
Dude, I should have picked Akali that first game that we played. I was too afraid because I didn't know. I didn't want the camps. I didn't want the Grant camps.
Playing into Akali, you can play Fiddlesticks in Akali. Dalton learned about that the hard way yesterday.
Okay. Did you know about that level 1 drain after y'all unpaused?
Yep. It took almost your entire health bar, and you walked into turret.
I was alt-tabbed. I was alt-tabbed because of the pause, and then I just like my champion auto-pathed into him. I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I come back 60% HP. Oh, I was so salty.
I have a serious question.
What's up?
Winged Hussars then, or Warring Kingdoms then?
Warring Kingdoms easily. Not even a contest. Warring Kingdoms. If you buy Hussar, you're bronze. You're bronze or you're the odd one.
Well, the thing is, I got it mystery gifted.
Oh, true. Does anybody else have any questions about the Academy game? I mean, I feel like there's more stuff I could talk about, but
who wants? I need a person to help me get better at laning phase. That's my weakest part of the game.
I heard something about support runes.
What?
Who's this talking?
Who said support runes?
This is well.
Find a freelancer and let him abuse you for like.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to get better at laning,
shit on you for days.
Just like to get better at laning, I just played against freelancer a lot, and I've gotten really good at like laning because I'm used to losing to freelancer.
You should carry on the legacy of freelancer.
Just dumping on kids for fun. I can help you with fizz laning. Actually, my fizz laning was pretty ass.
It's not even fizz. Like just any champion. I
can help with laning phase because I'm like usually decent at that. Like I normally don't lose laning phase. I just like do something stupid, or something stupid happens and I just tilt in mid game. Like
because that's the problem with our team. Like I'm trying to find a way how I can win lane. Because generally I either lose or I like go barely not even.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. I'm pretty sure that like Lux Yasuo lane. I think I like lost like terribly in CS, but like I just didn't die.
Yeah. I can help you with that.
And just play Akali, and even if you lose, then you win.
I mean,
I mean, there's obviously gonna be a point where we feed you like 10 kills.
Omnipotence. Are you the one that asked about support runes?
It's entirely different than laning phase is like huge. Is a big.
Shut the fuck up, Norman. Okay. Omnipotence. Did you say that you had a question about support runes?
Yeah. All right.
I would add Martyr, Marter, and he can tell you how to do it.
For support runes, you basically just go a fuck ton of health. Like you go health seals and health quintessences, and then magic resist glyphs, and either it depends on what support you can. If you're like Thresh, then you might want to take AD marks just for a ton of E damage, or you can take like magic pen or hybrid pen or more armor, just depending on the support.
Actually, I wouldn't take penetration as support, or it depends on what type of support you're playing. If you're playing like Janna, you're not gonna go penetration just because you need the AP ratio, or I'm not sure if many supports actually use penetration nowadays.
I don't know, I usually do it on like Zyra or Annie, something like that.
That's true. On off-mage supports where you're supposed to do damage, like Brand, Zyra, Annie, you're gonna use penetration. You'll be a lot more typically AP mid focus, but more typical supports such as like Thresh, you're gonna go armor and flat MR, and depending on the matchup, you might go for more MR or less MR. And for like a mage, I like going mana regen and AP and having less. I like.
Stream. We're gonna be done with League Academy. So I'm gonna go turn off the stream. So it's not gonna be too long for the YouTube clip. Thanks for watching. We're gonna do the same thing probably. 2 Tuesdays from now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it on Tuesday. I'll have to keep it keep you guys posted. It just depends on how my classes work out. That because we realized that Sunday was conflicting with intramural too often, and that's why we're moving it. But yeah, thanks for watching. This will be on YouTube, so you guys can watch the replay to see if you have anything else to learn from it. But that's gonna be all for now. I'm not giving a 2-hour lecture on how to play Urgot. Dylan is an awful human being for suggesting Urgot. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.